Hey guys, my name is DocJade and welcome to episode 6 of the Factorio series where we try to hit 1 million green circuits per hour. In the last episode we worked on nuclear power, but today we are going to be working on making laser turrets and overall just upgrading our defenses. First up, I'll start working on those laser turrets. I'm going to grab some steel and electronic circuits off the belt, and then we can go grab some sulfuric acid so we can make batteries. I'm also going to need iron and copper plates for the batteries, so I'll grab those off the bus really quick. Now with all of our belts in a row, I can start working on those batteries. I don't think this is enough batteries, so I'm going to throw some speed modules in here, and then we can start working on the actual laser turrets themselves. And there we go, now we're making laser turrets. We're still not making enough batteries, so I'm going to throw a beacon in here and put some speed modules in it really quick. I'm going to add an output for those laser turrets real quick, and then I'm going to double our production because I feel like it. Now our battery situation is even worse, so I'm going to build some more of those too. If you pay attention to the sulfuric acid pipes, you can kind of see them pulsing back and forth. That means we're not making it quickly enough, so I'm going to go check out our sulfuric acid production. It looks like we're not putting sulfur into the machine quickly enough, so I'm going to upgrade that really quick. But we're still not putting it in fast enough, so I'm going to have to move this belt back and add even more inserters to the sulfuric acid chemical plant. That seems like it'll work at least temporarily, but I'm still going to put some beacons down next to it and put some speed modules into it so we can put it into the machine even quicker. Are you a fan of run-on sentences? Because I sure am. Anyway, we're going to put 2 more beacons below this so we can speed up production even more, but now it looks like we're not getting enough sulfur on the belt, so we're going to have to go check that out. It's probably a petroleum issue, but it's actually not a petroleum issue. We're just not able to spit it out of the machines quickly enough. So I'm going to put some more beacons down with speed modules so we can speed up our sulfur production, thus also speeding up our sulfuric acid production. But to fit another beacon in here, I need to move the explosives production over just a little bit. But now the new issue is we aren't getting iron plates into the sulfuric acid chemical plant quickly enough, but there isn't much we can do about that due to the low iron plate production. Okay, I'm done talking quickly. Anyway, laser turret production is doing pretty well now regardless, so I'm going to start designing our new wall. Oh, I also got this comment from Andy here informing me that I should probably build my walls a little bit further away from the turrets, so I'll keep that in mind in this design. Thanks, Andy. I'm also going to put some stone bricks down in this blueprint just because I think it looks cool. I'm also going to add a rail to this design. You'll see why later. Looks pretty good to me. I'll finish the designing a little bit later because I got sidetracked and decided I wanted to finish building a rocket today. I started researching space science packs, and now I'll go grab all the resources I need to build a rocket silo. There we go, now we just need to hook up the rocket control units, low density structure, and rocket fuel. And there's space science packs. Next up, I'll work on researching the Spidertron, but for that I'm going to need efficiency modules 1, 2, and 3. While those continue to research, I'm going to hook up the resources for the rocket. Next up is portable fusion reactors. Oh, and I finished hooking up all the resources to the rocket. We're about 4% done building it now. Portable fusion reactors are done, so now we get to research the Spidertron. Only problem is it's super expensive. 2,500 of each kind of science pack. That's going to take a while. Next up on our list of things to automate is the satellite. You can beat the game without a satellite by just launching the rocket empty, but I want the space science pack, so I'm going to put a satellite inside of it. I'm going to be lazy again and use a requester chest for all the ingredients, except for the low density structure and rocket fuel, since I can just pull that off the belt right next to it. I just realized I forgot to finish making the wall blueprint, so I'll add accumulators to it really quick, and then we can make a blueprint out of it. Now I'm going to paste down that blueprint a second time so I can design the inner corner of the wall. I was heading down south to grab some more building materials for the wall, but looks like our rocket's already done. The satellite's already inside of it too. Really quick, I'm going to set up an output for the space science, and it's going to have a circuit condition on it to make sure we don't launch any more rockets once we hit 5,000 of those space science packs. Now all we have to do is make sure we check this box to automatically launch it when there's a satellite inside, and we're good to go. Prepare for takeoff. Except, hold on, wait a second. I added an output limit for the chest instead of an input limit for the satellites. I'm an idiot. Let me go fix that really quick. We'll run a wire down here to make sure we don't put the satellite in when we have over 5,000 science packs. That should do it. Anyway, back to the rocket launch. Now we've technically beat the game, but there's still a lot of green circuits to build. Now that that's done, I'll put that space science on the belt for the labs really quick. Anyway, let's keep working on that wall design. I'll add some finishing touches, and then we can turn this into a blueprint. Oh, and I realized I forgot to put the roboport and the radar in that straight wall blueprint, so I'll update that really quick. Now I'll go ahead and tear down this wall, and we can start working on the outside corner. Originally, the corners were going to be square, but I didn't like how that looked, so I tried rounding it out. Sucked at that, so I had to pull up a Minecraft circle generator and use that to template out the correct curve. Honestly, I think that looks so much cooler. Now I'll go ahead and make that wall 5 tiles thick. Looks good to me. Originally, I was going to put those little outcroppings like on the straight parts of the wall, but I couldn't get it to look right, so I had to abandon the idea. Anyways, now I'll start designing the inside of that corner. Man, I'm so glad I didn't do the square corners. This looks awesome. Now we'll just make a blueprint out of it and we're done. Now I can use the bots to tear it down, which looks super cool. Speaking of bots, I'm going to change this limit on this inserter to 10,000 because I want there to be 10,000 bots in the system. We're still having an iron plate problem in the base, but it's not an issue of mining it, it's an issue of smelting it. So I'm going to throw another electric smelting array up here, and I'm going to beacon the heck out of it just because I need to get this iron now. I'm going to send the output of that furnace array straight back into the bus. Now using some splitter priority, I'm going to grab the excess iron ore and pipe it up here. The inserters on the right side don't have enough room to place their plates onto the belt, so I'm going to have to redirect the left side's output through this underground belt really quick. Now I'm going to pull a third blue belt of iron out of that train station. And there we go, a full blue belt of iron plates onto the bus. If you have a lane of items that are going the wrong speed down your bus, means you have a bottleneck somewhere. In my case, it was this yellow underground belt that I forgot to upgrade. Now we're going to research inserter capacity bonus 4 to hopefully load and unload that iron train just a little bit faster. And once that's done, we can go right back to Spidertron. I notice our plastic production slowed down again, so I'm going to go figure out what's causing that. Turns out we stopped turning our heavy oil into light oil because our pump got disabled because we don't have enough lubricant, so we now just have to wait for that to fill back up. But we can help it with some speed modules and beacons. Also, our light oil reserves are kind of low, which is kind of scary because if we run out of light oil, that means our flamethrowers stop working, which would be really bad. So I'm going to add a speaker here to set off an alarm when we run out of light oil. Now I'm going to mess around with it a little bit and see which alarm sound I like the most. I like the siren one. Let's go with that. Now to increase our biter offensive, we're going to set up some artillery wagons. Artillery wagons are almost the same as the artillery cannons like you see on the right, except you can hook them up to a train. Now you see what the rails on the wall was for, don't you? We're going to make a metric butt ton of them and we're going to set them up on this rail down here. I'm going to use 2 locomotives at the front and we're going to power it with rocket fuel for extra acceleration. We're going to need it because this train's going to be really long. And when I say long, I mean long. I'm going to set up a requester chest for those artillery shells and we'll put them straight on the train. Now I'll go and add the inserters for all the wagons, and then I'll place down the rest of the wagons, all 56 of them in total. Also, I'm going to put locomotives on both sides because I don't feel like making a giant loop for this. And I realize we can get even more speed out of that train if we use nuclear fuel instead of rocket fuel. And since we have basically unlimited 235 now, we can just make as much of it as we want. That's a little bit too slow, but I've got a solution. I used to never use beacons in my Factorio runs, but now I'm chronically addicted to them. Now I'll change those requester chests to request the nuclear fuel instead for the train. We're still not getting artillery shells quickly enough, so I'm going to add a second requester chest. Why don't I just increase the request amount? I don't know, I must have been tired. Anyway, really quick, I'm going to add this giant rail across the entirety of our bottom wall. Normally the artillery shells only stack up to 1 in chests, but for some reason they stack up to 100 in the wagons, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to build even more production for them. Right here, I realize that's going to take a lot of steel, so I'm actually not going to turn this production on since we're so low on it already. Now I'm going to sit here in AFK until the Spidertron research is done. The research finishes about an hour later. Now we can start working on getting a Spidertron. They are very expensive, so I'll get started. First, we'll set up efficiency modules. I'm going to start building a Spidertron bot-based mall. So first up, we've got the Spidertron itself. Next, we'll set up rocket launchers. Then we can set up portable fusion reactors. Now we'll set up exoskeletons. Here I realize I need efficiency module 3s, not 2s, so I'll fix that really quick. Next up is personal laser defense, so I'm going to set up the assembler for it, and I can't find the crafting recipe. Looks like I forgot to research it. Whoops. There we go. Next I'll research personal roboports too. Actually, before that, I'm going to upgrade our laser shooting speed and laser damage. While those continue to research in the background, I'll finish setting up personal laser defense. Next, I'll automate level 1 and level 2 personal batteries. I'll set up personal roboports and I'll save a spot for level 2 ones. And would you look at that, our first Spidertron is done. I'm going to go ahead and place him down so we can customize him a little bit. I'm going to name him Dave, and then I'm going to set his color to red, which is one of the national colors of Germany. We're going to take Dave for a little test drive here. As you can see, he can walk over top of everything, which is very convenient. Next, I'll craft a Spidertron remote, which will let me control Dave remotely. It's very useful because I can just click a destination for him to go to, or I can set multiple waypoints. Also, you can have him follow things like the character or almost anything else in the game, including robots, which is kind of funny. Also, I forgot to mention Dave has 4 different rocket launchers, so we're going to automate some rockets for him really quick. Only having one rocket assembler isn't going to be fast enough, even with speed modules, so I'm going to set up its own dedicated production. And there we go. Something useful that Dave can do is he has his own logistics grid, so we can use him to request items. In this case, we're going to have him request his own rockets. He also has his own dedicated equipment grid, so we can throw stuff inside of him like lasers. Another nice thing we can research for Dave is energy shields. We can put those inside of his equipment grid, which will basically turn electricity into free health. I'm going to set up some more logistics requests for Dave, and then we can put some temporary equipment in him and take him for a test drive. I'm going to check this box to make it so he shoots his rocket launchers as long as there's a person inside. And now we can go kill some biters. That works really, really well. And what's super convenient is now that we're done killing the biters, I can just grab my Spidertron remote, go into the map, and we can tell him to go home, and we don't even have to touch him anymore. There we go, now we can start automating Mark II personal roboports. Once that finishes crafting, we can put some new fancy equipment inside Dave and take him for another test drive.
Nice.
Also, let's go try out that artillery train real quick. Yeah, this might take a while. Once we finally arrive, we can sit back and watch the carnage. Another fun thing you can do is use the artillery shells as radars. After sitting around and clicking nests for a little while, we finally take out everything within range. So I'll move the train over to the other side and we can start taking out over there as well. Eventually. And there we go, we've killed most of the biters within reach. Now I'll send the train home to its station. That's going to take a while, so I'll just take Dave home instead. I'm going to set some iron plates, steel, and low-density structure down on the ground here to remind me to get more of each next episode. Speaking of episodes, this one is over, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, my name's DocJade. Bye-bye. Also check this out, Spidertron's on the main menu.